Good evening. I would like to welcome you to the West Jordan City Council. We're happy to have you. We're excited to have so many people join us tonight. We have all of our council members here, as well as our staff and the mayor and his staff. Welcome to all of you. We have many Jaguars in our audience tonight, and I appreciate you being here. And the first order of business, we have a Jaguar that actually volunteered, and I appreciate her, Adiana Crosby. And she will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. However you want.
Okay. Will the audience please rise and recite the pledge, please? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And her peers, you know, I think you should tell the teacher and she should get extra credit. I appreciate that. Tonight, we're so excited. I am so excited. We have some special recognitions, and the first one is going to be introduced by our own Marie, and it is for Melanie Bajork Jensen, and this is exciting news for our city. So, Marie.
Okay. All right. So we are excited to welcome someone who makes our city a little sweeter, pun intended. That's for you, Mayor. Melanie Bjork Jensen is a registered nurse, a business owner, and no big deal, the winner of Food Network's Season 11 Halloween Baking Championship. Out of the entire country, she was one of just 10 bakers chosen to compete, and she proudly represented our city on national television. So what makes Melanie's story even better is how it started, and I'll kind of let her talk about that, but is that she taught herself to bake by watching YouTube. I like to call it YouTube University. So yeah,
awesome.
come up here. Yes. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to ask her a few questions. And I think we have a picture of her cake, right? Yes, that's her on the show.
It's gory and gross. Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm really honored to be here. I don't know what we're doing.
Melanie, we're so grateful that you're here, and
Thank
we're
you.
happy that you're part of our city, and your cake is awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. So why did you turn to YouTube to learn to bake?
Well, I always wanted to be a nurse, and I always wanted to be a baker, and I hadn't gone to school for either yet, but I figured one I could learn first at home, so I taught myself how to make cakes on YouTube, and then I used those funds with my own little wedding cake company to put myself through nursing school, and now I'm both. Ha!
Congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bloom?
What is something when you first started that you wish you knew then that you know now?
Oh my gosh, the fridge, ma'am. The fridge. I love the fridge. The fridge is my friend. My first ever wedding cake that I made this gorgeous 3-tiered thing, and I didn't have any kind of cutouts to make pretty shapes, so I took an X-Acto knife, and for way too many hours, I cut these little intricate patterns, and I put it all over the cake, and then the wedding was due the next day, and I left it on the counter, and the whole thing went like you undid your belt after Thanksgiving, and my heart broke. The end.
And one more. What advice would you give to somebody who really would love to bake and doesn't know how to start?
Oh my gosh, do the YouTube thing. It's great. It's all available and it's for you, and you should bake. And also put stuff in the fridge. It's like a magic trick.
That is awesome.
Thank you. I'm shaking.
Don't shake. We're pretty nice.
A chihuahua. Thank you.
Councilmember Jacob.
You were on national TV. Don't be nervous about us.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you saw it, but I laid on the floor twice over there. I'm not great with nerves.
No, I just wanted to ask you, what was, people might want to know, and I'd like to know, how did you manage to get onto Food Network? What was the process like? How did you go from baking wedding cakes in West Jordan to baking that for everybody in the world.
That gory, gross thing that I'm so proud of. Yes. So there's a process that is so long. So first, I put a little application out there a couple years, and I thought that it was gone forever, and so I just kept building up my portfolio on Instagram. And then they reached out 2 years ago and asked if I wanted to come and do it, and I said, no, I cannot, because I was in the middle of a divorce, and it was not time. And then they reached out again last year, and it was a 10-month process to get through the interviewee process, because I guess thousands and thousands and thousands of people go through and apply. But they found mine, found my Instagram. I do a bunch of Halloween-y stuff. And then for 10 months, they interviewed me. They made me do online, they made me do challenges over Zoom. And so I had timed challenges in my house where I was walking around with a camera. It was weird. And then they made me cut into it on a Zoom meeting. And the only place I have a Zoom camera is in my carpeted basement. So I'm holding up a cake and it's all shaky and I'm cutting into it on a Zoom. And these 3 people on their little cameras are leaning in to look. And they went, yes, that's good. Now mix the mousse for me. So I'm there mixing mousse on a Zoom. And they let me come in at the end. They flew me out and I felt like an imposter the whole time. Because I didn't think I should be there. It was crazy.
I think the end result says you belonged there.
Imposter syndrome was the title of the whole. Everything there just felt like I was tricking them. And then they liked me. And I was so surprised I fell on the floor.
That
I was
is
so
awesome.
overwhelmed.
I don't see any other lights, but we would like you to come up here. We would love a picture with you, and then we have a little certificate.
That's so nice. You're so nice.
I think we know why everybody loves her.
Yes. Well. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for representing West Jordan so well. Our next item on our agenda is providing advice and consent to appoint a new police chief. And I would think that the person coming up for this would be our old police chief. Who is conducting this part? Mayor?
I will for just
Okay.
a moment, if I may. So, our current police chief gave me this resignation letter, but he did it with just my name on it. So by the time I opened it, he already had done it.
You were served.
I was served. And so we knew it was coming. We had planned on this back when we first hired him. And he did, as he was asked by the council back then, is to prepare somebody to take his place. And he did a very good job doing that. And not only did he prepare somebody, but he prepared the entire department. And he's done such a fantastic job with the department that they are now prepared for this next police chief, who is also prepared for this position. And we're thrilled that this is what's taking place. And I would like Chief Valentine to take a moment to explain to you why he thinks that Deputy Chief Robertson is the right person for this.
Well, I didn't have any forewarning about that. So this is off the cuff, and and really what I feel, not what I've had time to think about. So in my office, some of you may have seen, there is a motorcycle part, off an old motorcycle that I had. And engraved in the steel on my motorcycle for many years were 5 words, and they're the hiring criteria that I've tried to follow. I've been a chief of police for about 20 years now, and was a bureau chief before that, and had the opportunity to hire a lot of people, a few hundred, into law enforcement. And I've stuck with this one formula. I hire and promote first on the basis of integrity, second on the basis of motivation, third, capacity, fourth, knowledge, and last, and generally least important, is experience. The reason being that if you don't have integrity, your motivation is suspect. And if you don't have motivation, who cares what your capacity is? You don't have capacity to work, it doesn't matter what you know. And at the end of the day, we all have experiences as we go through life. The reason that I believe that Deputy Chief Robertson is the best successor for me is because he is a man of integrity, a whole man. Someone that I have known far longer than I've been here as Chief of Police. I've known his family for many, many years. This is a man of unquestionable, unshakable, unassailable integrity. His motivation is to serve the officers of our police department and to serve the people in our community. I could stop there, but that's really the reason that he is the best candidate to succeed me, and I personally believe that he will be the best police chief this city has ever seen. I love him as a son. He is truly one of the finest people I've ever known, and he has selected 2 other of the finest people I've ever known, had the opportunity to work with, to serve as his deputy chiefs. I promised you, when I met with you a long time ago, late in the evening, when the council used to not be able to manage its affairs until midnight, that I would bring to you a number of potential successors. I've done that, and the mayor has chosen the very best. And he has given me the honor, incoming Chief Robertson, is giving me the honor of administering the oath of office to him and to the 2 deputy chiefs. I'll proceed if I may, Councilmember Whitelock. Oh, you need a resolution, don't you?
Yeah, we're going to
So,
vote
like,
on the
my vote isn't
resolution.
enough?
You know, your word is we respect your word, but we have a few things that the legislature requires of us, and we prefer to follow that.
Sorry, I just wanted to eat to the cookie part.
All right, Councilmember Green.
I'm going to move to approve resolution number 25-059, providing positive advice and content to appoint Jeremy Robertson as the new chief of police for the city of West Jordan.
Councilmember Shelton.
I second the motion for resolution.
I have a motion by Councilmember Green, a second by Councilmember Shelton. Any discussion to the motion? I just want to say, I think this is great, but I appreciate you, Chief Wallentyne, and your wife for the service that you've provided to our city. And I appreciate soon-to-be Chief Robertson and his wife for stepping up and also serving our city. Councilmember Jacob.
Thank you. I just want to repeat something that I said the other day when we found out about that this was going to occur. That 5, 6, 7 years, how many years have you been here?
7.
7 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. 7 years ago, when we had a police chief leave and we were searching for a new one, we didn't search within the department. We searched outside the department because we knew that there was some issues that needed some repair. And we found a police chief who could not only repair those issues, but set us up on a foundation, on a trajectory going forward that was going to be the direction that we would want a police department to go. And I've had innumerable opportunity over the last 7 years to extol our police department on how wonderful they have been in interacting with our community, with other communities as they've been called into service at larger occurrences that have happened in the valley and in the state, as we've gone and or they've gone, I can't say we, it wasn't me, as they've gone and have assisted other police departments and things and have received the praise of other police departments in return. I have had the opportunity to say how awesome our police department's been, and that's largely been due to our leadership. And so when we found out that Chief Wallentyne was going to retire, I like the direction we're going, and when we're going in the wrong direction, you look outside the department. When you're going in the right direction, you look inside the department. And you've done an exemplary job of not only preparing, like the mayor said, your deputy chiefs and your leadership in the department, but also the department being on the right course. And so I think this is a continuation of a very good legacy that I hope to see continue for a long time to come. So thank you for your service in your past 7 years, and thank you for prepping the right guy to pick up the reins from here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Bador.
I just want to speak real briefly for all the people in attendance and those millions listening at home. It was amazing. Before I joined the council, I just thought, we have a police department. I hope I never have to see them. I never have to deal with them. I was grateful we had police, but I didn't fully understand everything until I got in this position, and I got to see how important it was to have such strong leadership leading this force, and as Councilmember Jacob said, how much it's respected outside of West Jordan. And it comes down to that leadership. So those of you listening and not thinking about the police force that we have here, it is exemplary, and it starts at the top, and it continues down. So I also want to give my quick thank you to you, Chief, for all you've done to make this happen. I want to thank incoming Chief Robertson and his deputies on what they're going to do, what they're going to continue, because in my dealings with all of them, I know that this is going to keep going, and to our entire West Jordan police staff. It is amazing, and I'm grateful to see that it's still continuing in the right hands.
Councilmember Lamb.
Thank you. When you run for city council, you really don't think about the interactions that you will have with police and fire and other great heroes here in our city. And so when I first got on the council many years ago, I got that opportunity to work with our police force and get to know people. And yes, I was there at that midnight burner as we brought you on as our new police chief. And I'm sorry, Jeremy, that you weren't able to have the midnight meeting. We'll try and do something to make that up for you. But I've also had the opportunity to work with Jeremy Robertson over the years too, and we've gotten to know each other. And I'm grateful for his opportunity to serve and also to serve in this position. And we look forward to great things from you. So thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Just a couple of quick thoughts. First, Chief, thank you. The city has been honored and blessed to have you in charge. Over the course of the few decades that I spent in the military and the numerous change of command ceremonies that I went to, one of the things that, and promotion ceremonies, one of the things that I was always told and I always heard was, we don't promote people for what they've done. We promote people for what they will do. So, with that, Chief Robertson, I know you will do a good job. Look forward to great things, and even bigger and better things than what we've done the last 7 years. And I know that you can't do it alone. And as much, we owe your wife as much thanks for her allowing us to have you lead. So thank you.
All right. We have many members of Chief Robertson's family here, as well as his brothers and sisters in blue. So I just want you to know we're going to have our vote, and then the chief will do his thing, but you are welcome to come up as far as you want and take pictures, okay? So the vote, Miss Quick.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Resoundingly yes.
Vice Chair Bador.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
I show that motion passes 7-0.
Take it away, Chief.
Thank you. For sake of convenience to the council and the public, we will swear in Chief Robertson, Deputy Chief Rich Bell, and Deputy Chief Morgan Anders at the same time. Raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah and the laws and ordinances of the City of West Jordan, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. Now, Chief Robertson, there is one last thing you must do to make it official, and that is come and sign the oath. I have signed it, and once you sign that, I'll file that with the city recorder. If anybody wants to take pictures, now's a good time.
Deputy Chiefs, we'd like to take a picture with you. Yeah, let's go down.
I'd like to invite the chief and deputy chief's spouses to come and join in the picture, if you don't mind. I promise you, after 43 years of being a cop, that I have come to understand that the spouses serve every bit as much as the person wearing the badge.
Just a friendly reminder for those of you that might be leaving us, we have to leave the door open. And so we kind of ask you to skedaddle and not talk right there.
We're going across the street to the police department. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But that doesn't mean you won't hear from him. But I want to let you know that since Chief Robertson is now our police chief, this gentleman here will be the special advisor to the chief for his remaining days. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is public comments. And during public comments, you will have 3 minutes, and during that period, you can speak to any item you wish. If you are here for one of our public hearings, that would be the time to speak to that item. And you can speak at one time or the other, but on the same subject, you only get one turn. So, Mr. Anderson, do I have anyone online tonight?
There is no one online.
No, earlier there were hundreds or thousands or something. What happened to all them? Oh, millions. Oh, and then Bob stopped speaking and they all disappeared. That's unfortunate. Well, then I will go to our public comment cards, and I have one tonight, and it is from Mr. Randolph Taylor, and he will be speaking to item 6B. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the council. I appreciate being here and taking a moment. My name is Randolph Taylor. I'm a longtime resident of West Jordan. I serve as the local rep for JustServe.org in the southwest quadrant of the valley. I'm grateful to West Jordan City for considering the idea of becoming a Just Serve city, and encourage all of you to pass and sign the proposed proclamation tonight and proudly display it at City Hall. West Jordan is full of civic-minded, volunteering people. And I think that fact should be recognized more formally and encourage that. Thousands and thousands of volunteer hours are given. This Just Serve City designation recognizes West Jordan City's exceptional commitment to volunteering and its positive impact in our community. In receiving this award, you will then have the opportunity of qualifying for a Global Just City Award, a prestigious designation which honors cities that actively list service opportunities, encourage unity and city values through service, and recognize individuals for their service in the community. So, as you consider becoming a Just Serve city this evening, remember, it costs nothing, but it pays much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council at this time? If you do, please come forward. Seeing none, we will move on. Oh. If it's a public hearing item, either 5A, B, or C, there will be time during that. Okay, all right. All right, so now we will move on to our public hearings. The first one is ordinance number 2559, a petition from Wixom Investments to rezone 1.47 acres from A5 zone to R18 for Sandra's Place, located at 1490 West, 8600 South. Mr. Forsyth, are you, there you are. Do we want to hear from the developer first?
Yeah,
Who are you pointing to?
speaks first.
Okay. And that is Brandon Wixom. Come forward.
Hello. Thank you for letting me be here tonight. It was quite the opportunity to see the city in action. I'd love to know where that lady has her cake shop. Maybe somebody can tell me afterwards.
In her home.
Oh, in her home. Okay. she should open one right here in the city hall, or next door. But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the application that I have. I have the presentation. Is now the time to present it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I just click on this. Okay, this is named Sandra's Place after one of the owners of the property. It's a 6-lot subdivision for single-family homes. The address is just 8 blocks down the street, 1490 West, 8600 South. It's 1.47 acres, and currently it is zoned Agriculture 5, and I wish to change it to R18, which will allow for single-family homes with 3-car garages. This is also in line with the future land map use designation as low residential. We will build new beautiful homes that will attract families and working professionals into West Jordan City. The location, as we talked about, is just to the south of us. And I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see in red there, that zooms in a little bit more. It's at the end of 8600 South and 1550 West, and it's the remnants of an old farm that used to be, this whole area used to be a farm, as we know the history here. But it's been developed pretty much all the way around it, and it's obsolete for the zoning that it is. Here it shows A5, and around it you have R110 and R18. And this is the future land use map, which shows low residential density. So as I mentioned, you get in the property from 8600 South or 1500 West. The topography is mostly flat. There's several large trees that surround the border of the property. It has spectacular mountain views to the east. And the current zoning, as I mentioned, is obsolete, A5, and it's not aligned with the future land use map. Here's a picture of the residence, and they have a garage next to it, and then behind is the field right there. Access will be along a private road, or private lane, I should say, off of 8600 South. We'll have a 5-foot concrete sidewalk which will connect the community or these new homes to 8600 South. All units will have 2 to 3 car garages. There will be no parking allowed on the private lane, and we're going to have signs that will be placed accordingly. Here is a rough diagram of how we'll come into the property, and it shows for 6 lots. Now that's next step, and I'll be coming back to talk about that. But we've met with the city staff and several people here in the city to make sure that it all works and that it does comply with the ordinances. And this is a rendering of a potential home that we might build. 2 3-car garages. And also this area is very unique because of the walkability and the public transportation that is so close. You can be to almost any location within 30 minutes if you jump on the tracks. Right there, there's also bus routes. And we think that having this location close to the public transportation will perhaps encourage more people to use the public transportation and use their vehicles less and less. That's a map of where you could get, and I've ridden this tracks line. You can be to the U of U within 30 minutes, also downtown. You can go over to Murray Hospital and jump on the front runner that will get you up to Ogden or down to Provo very easily. The city of West Jordan is great because there's so many parks here. And I know that there's trails that connect many of those, and many future trails will be built to connect it. But within walking distance, there's a lot of trails here. I just wanted to highlight that. And here's a couple pictures that I took. This is the library and then the nice little park that little people find so much fun right here at the City Hall. Allowing the zone change from R18 is consistent with the general plan. The zone change would help West Jordan have more attainable housing stock to offer future residents. This will allow 6 new owners or families to become part of the West Jordan community. Are there any questions for me?
Are there questions? Anyone want to ask the developer anything? Councilmember Lamb?
Yeah, just a quick question. So I am assuming the old house is being taken down and they're making 6 new houses, or is the older house staying up?
Correct. The current plan is to remove the old house. It's pretty old.
Right.
And then do a nice little private drive that would have 6 new homes constructed.
Okay. And then I'm sure you've already got this answered, but typically there's an issue with, fire truck getting in and out. So the T that's been put in there, that's up to code with what the firefighters need for the turnaround?
That's a great question. So we did meet with the fire department and the fire chief and all the proper people, fire marshal, thank you, to make sure we met all the requirements. I actually have an engineer here. If you have any engineering questions specific that he could answer, Benchmark Engineering has done the studies and designed the site that I'll be presenting later when I come back to get the 6 lots, or to build.
Thank you.
Councilmember Green?
I've got a couple of questions, but I think they'd be better directed at Mr. Forsyth.
Okay. I don't see any other, so thank you. And, Councilmember Green, did you change your mind? No? Oh, you're getting ready.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank
Okay.
you.
Did you have any engineering questions too that you might want the engineer to talk?
We might, so
Okay.
don't send them home
He is
until we're
here,
done.
so-
Yeah, don't send
Okay.
them home until we're done.
Thank you.
Mr. Forsyth, please.
All right, thank you. So I'm just going to go over a couple of points real quick. So just kind of looking at the density, we did a little bit of a density study just to put this into perspective to see how this would match up with some of the surrounding neighborhoods. You can see there on the map, kind of to the east and the west, it's kind of a little bit of a lower density, kind of around that 2.5 range, 3 range. But looking at the north and the south there, we're kind of getting into the 3.5 or 4 dwelling units per acre, which is pretty much in line with what the developer wants to do. And then just the last point here, just touching on serviceability. So water, sewer, storm drains, those are all coming from 8600 South and should tie into the property through that way. And as far as the next steps go, assuming the rezone is approved tonight, the next step would be to review this through the preliminary major subdivision review process. That'll go through staff review and then to the Planning Commission for a public hearing. And assuming that is approved by the Planning Commission, it'll come back to staff for final review and final approvals. And that's it. And I can
Okay,
answer
we
any
have at
questions.
least one question. Councilmember Green.
I have at least 2 questions. The first question is, generally, if I recall the city ordinance, we don't like private streets. So, and that's normally discouraged in the code. Why the private street here?
So the code allows private streets if they're approved by the Planning Commission and if they serve an infill purpose to where they only connect to one street and they don't link to public streets. So ultimately, yeah, that will need to be approved by the Planning Commission, but yeah, they do allow that.
I guess my next question to follow that up would be, are the streets going to be built to the city standard in case we get stuck with that street? That's never happened in the history of West Jordan, right? That we have a private street that ends up being turned over to the city. So are these streets going to be built to the city standards so that if for some strange reason we get stuck with that street, that it meets our standards?
So simple question is no. These roads will actually be a little bit shorter. They'll only have sidewalk on one side, and I believe they're all grade level as well.
Okay. And then the last question, is this lot big enough we need to worry about detention ponds or anything like that?
We haven't really gotten into that level of detail yet, but we will in the next stage.
Okay, Vice Chair Bador.
Just going over the Planning Commission report, there was some talk about R18 or R110, and the Planning Commission seemed to make it, at least two people said, it makes no difference, R18, R110. One difference would be that as it's an R110, they're held to that obligation of making sure the lots are a certain size. R18 means this design we saw could be something different when it comes to us because we've opened up a can of worms. So I would like to ask you, what is going to be the difference between this? And even if they stay with the design that they've shown us here today, why can't that be an R110 to hold them to making sure we only have 6 homes on that property?
Yeah, so pretty much all of the lots, 5 out of the 6 are over 10,000 square feet. Now these are a little bit odd because the front property line actually goes to the center of the road and the road's created by easement.
Right.
So, so that kind of allows for a bigger lot there, but one of the lots was around 9,000 square feet. But if they took some of the property from one of the lots, I think it could be feasible that they could do all of them in 10. But I think the R18 is really just to allow a little bit more flexibility in case.
And I get that on the flexibility, but I also worry about flexibility of what can be done if that's opened up there. Is the city have any qualms about making this an R110?
Not particularly, no. The result would pretty much be the same.
Thank you.
Councilmember Shelton.
My question runs along the same lines as Councilmember Bador's question. And I'm no mathematician, but I did a little checking, and it looks like if it was R18, that you could have up to 8 units on that property. And so I appreciate the need for flexibility, but I feel like I would be more comfortable if it was R110, because that's what essentially what they're asking for anyway. I don't feel like it'd be a huge imposition for the developer, for the applicant, unless somebody can direct me and show me the light. I would be hard pressed to vote yes for R18.
Councilmember Jacob.
I'll try. No, nothing about this really bothers me. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit of a square peg in a round hole, a little bit. But it's not because it's R18 and not R110. It's just by virtue of where the property is and how it's laid out and how it could potentially be subdivided. You know, whether it's 4 homes, 5 homes, 6 homes, or 7 homes that end up here, I don't think is a material difference to really any of the neighborhoods. One extra house does not materially change anything, right? I mean, you look at the house next door. I've got it up on Google Maps here, but the house next door has a flag lot behind it, which was originally one lot, and then it was subdivided, and it has a flag lot. Now it's got 2 houses on it, or 3. I think it's 2 in the accessory building or something. But you know, and that's a private lane. It's the same kind of a thing. It's just it's a way that somebody wants to use their property to develop it out to be more than one house, and I think it's whether it's R18, R110, or R19 or R17, I think you're going to end up with substantially the same neighborhood. I don't think you're going to get anything significantly different one way or the other. To me, the discussion is it multiple homes or is it one home? Because right now it's one home, and that's what you get with the one home, is what you got. And what you're asking for is more than one home. We're not asking for multifamily. There's not going to be townhomes. It's only 1.5 acres. I mean, there's not. You can't get too bad with just 1.5 acres. It's not like we're putting in a high-rise apartment building or anything. So because they're all single family, whether your setbacks and considering R18 versus R110, it's not just the size of the lot that matters. Like they said, R18 could be the zone, but most of the, I should have saved all this for after the public hearing, and I'm sorry, but I'm on a roll. So most of the, or a lot of the zone is not just the square footage of the lot, but it's also the setbacks and the other things that go with the zone. The zone of R18 and R110, the only difference is not the 2,000 square feet. It's 2,000 square feet plus 3 feet of setback on this side, 2 feet of setback on that side. I don't know what the real numbers are, but it's a little bit. We had this come up when I was very, very first on the planning commission, some houses that were zoned, the whole neighborhood's R110, and they needed R18 because they were up against Bacchus Highway. It's over by Sunset Ridge. And it had to, they didn't have the width because they had to build a retaining wall, so they didn't have quite the depth for the setback for an R110. They were gonna build the exact same home on the exact same lot, but it had to be a little too close to the property line because they had to build a retaining wall because of where U111 was. And so they went to R18, and that's all it was. So to me, that's why I think the 10 versus 8 is not the debate. It's the A5 versus R1 something is more the question that you got to wrestle with, I think.
Actually, I don't have a question for you, but I do have a question for either the applicant or his engineer.
I'll try it first.
Is there any reason that it can't be R110? Because when I read Planning Commission, that's what residents desired.
Yes, the reason is for setbacks, and I'll have the engineer address that too. We've also, we have a thing in the city with the water in the master plan that was in, I forget the year that it came out, but there's only enough ERCs for 6. We will guarantee that we would only do 6 homes, if that would help everybody feel better. But we really need the R18 to reach the setbacks and make everything fit.
Could your engineer weigh in on that too? Engineers are pretty amazing at shifting lines and stuff. Is there not a way to make that work?
My name is Dale Bennett, Benchmark Engineering, just to give you that information. But I actually loved what Council Member Jacob said. Exactly what he's basically said. It's we want these homes to be beautiful, and R110 has just a few setbacks, and there's only so much width and so much depth, and by going to the R110, it makes the homes skinnier than what's comfortable, and R18 helps us with that. Even though the lots will still be that size, but we're also, like he said, we're not going any more than 6 for sure. That's going to be the maximum, but I've looked at it a whole lot of different ways, and R18 works, R110, it's just the way that configuration is. It's not making the houses wide enough, the depth of them, so that's the main reason.
Thank you.
Setbacks.
Okay, thank you. I don't see any other questions, so I will go ahead and open the public hearing. If you are here to speak to this, I don't have any yellow slips for this one. If you are here, you have 3 minutes, so come to the podium. And we ask that if someone's already said that what you were going to convey, maybe you can just tell us that they said what you wanted to say. I don't know. All right, go ahead. Please state your name and city of residence.
Good evening. My name is Kate Simonuti, and I live on Presta Villa Cove. Dear Mayor and members of City Council, I am writing to formally oppose the proposed zoning map amendment to rezone the property located at 1490 West 8600. As a resident of West Jordan and a member of the affected community, I believe this zoning change is inconsistent with the established neighborhood. I have 9 copies of what I've emailed you earlier.
They can go to Mr. Anderson and he'll get them to us. Thank you.
I wasn't allowed to put stuff on the board, on the TV, so I said attached, please find a petition with signatures of 23 neighbors living in adjacent properties who are in opposition to the current proposal of the R18 rezoning. As you can see on the included map, the properties directly to the north, east, and west of the proposed development are larger agricultural or estate-sized parcels, anywhere from 0.29 to 0.52 an acre each. In contrast, the proposed R18 designation would permit lot sizes and densities of up to 0.18 of an acre. The developer has submitted a plan of 6 houses, and I would encourage a rezoning of R110 to keep the lot sizes over 10,000 square feet or 0.23 of an acre, in keeping with most of the surrounding properties. In addition to being incompatible with surrounding lot sizes, the proposed rezoning raises a significant concern, such as the existing roadways, 8,600 per se, and public infrastructure such as stormwater runoff and the road itself were not designed to accommodate the increased traffic and service demand associated with higher residential densities. A more appropriate and responsible development on this parcel would be limited to a maximum of 4 to 6 lots, or lots rated at R110, which is in alignment with the surrounding lot sizes and zoning intent. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the City Council to deny the rezoning request as currently proposed and possibly consider rezoning it to R110, which in all effects is what the developer has proposed in his plan. I am not opposed to growth and developing the neighborhood. I, along with 23 residents, want to do it in a disciplined and sensible manner that aligns with the surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If there's someone else, please come up. State your name and city of residence.
Nora Lems. I live a flag lot away from there. I've been part of this city since 1985. I've seen a lot of growth. My husband's been in the city council. We've been very active. My main concern here is traffic. Okay, that T that he has produced, I would like to see a fire truck in there and try to do it. Okay, the other thing is the street that he's putting the sewer down, one car can go down that street. I challenge all of you to go down 8600 and the half street that he's proposing to attach to and try to drive it. 8600 is bottlenecked on Redwood. We are lane. Literally, we have not been plowed in 2 years. And before we moved there, we hadn't been plowed. The only reason we've been plowed is my husband was city council. Now, finally, we've been recognized as a street, and we appreciate that, okay? But our water lines broke 3 times in the last year and a half. You guys came in this year, we appreciate it. Getting a new water line, we appreciate that. This road has not had any attention in 25 years. The other street going south, you can fit 1 car down. Now, he has proposed no parking on those streets going in. You have 6 houses. Where are all those people going to park? Think about that. Think about the company that you have in your homes that come to visit. Okay, we have a half street one direction, the other street isn't gonna hold it. He needs to cut down his houses and make the street a little bit wider so he can have parking. Be honest with you. I'm looking at 5 houses and there's no place for water retention at all. None. And everybody else in this city has had to do a water retention. When we built in the very back, they had made us do our own water retention on our own lot. And there has not been one mention of water retention in this development. And for him to do that, he's gonna have to give up a house. And I honestly would like a wider driveway going into that. So I do challenge you, everybody, to go down our street and turn in, look at this property before you vote. That's all I'm asking, because our street will not handle it, either direction. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else desiring to address the council on this item? Hang on. I don't think so. Mr. Anderson?
You looking for people online?
No, I'm looking for advice as my parliamentarian. The applicant has asked to speak again, but he's had his turn.
It's appropriate to answer questions if the count, at your discretion.
But we're in the public hearing. Okay.
If there's no one else to speak, then it is allowed at your discretion.
After I close the public hearing, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir. What is your name?
I'm Steve Jones. I live here in West Jordan. Just one thing I want to throw out real quick, because some of you know I'm really sensitive to it, but the storm drain system, the way this is what I saw lined up on there, has anybody checked to make sure that now that you put all those homes in there that are now no place for the water runoff, it's going to go in those storm drains that's older and existing, are they sized for this development? We had a lot of flooding over by Constitution because nobody took that into consideration and they kept passing the buck. So I would hope somebody would take a little bit of time and look and make sure that the line size and everything will handle the capacity that's going to come out of this development that has virtually very little yard and more surface area that's going to cause water runoff. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this item? Mr. Anderson, still no one online?
Yeah, that's correct.
Correct. Thank you. All right, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the council. I believe Mr. Wixom would like to address us. Do we? Come on up, Mr. Wixom.
Thank you for letting me speak a little bit more. A lot of concerns that the public had are valid. A lot of those concerns will be addressed when we deal with the city staff and engineers when we propose the properties in the next step of this. Tonight we're here to talk about the zone change and what is, I want to show you if I can go back to the picture of what is around this property. Let me just go back a couple here. Because R18 is directly to the south of the property now. So as you drive in the roads, okay, you see that in the red is A5, directly south on the road, and 1500 West, kitty corner to that, that's R18 already, and they're going to improve that street to widen it when that comes along. And also 8600 South, the city, I believe, has plans to improve it. They just replaced the water line, and they're doing some improvements there. So as we develop these properties and change them from farmland, you're going to get more improvements here anyway. But as you drive, it's R18, R18, R18. These other neighborhoods, they're R110, and some of them do have a little bit larger, maybe at the end of the cul-de-sac, but that's not the majority of the properties. They're not that large. Those are, you don't even drive to this property. To get to that, you got to go up Redwood Road and then around and back to it. So it doesn't really affect it. And if you're going with the flow of what's there, it logically makes sense to be R18. And again, we will work with the engineering. We will comply with all of the rules, and the ERC requirements and so forth only allow for 6 units. We do not want to go above 6 units, and we would be willing to to agree to that tonight as well. Any questions?
I don't see any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Maybe Mr. Davenport can come up and he can answer a couple of questions on the spot, since he's the all-knowing guru about utilities in the street. First question, how many ERCs are tied to this property? Do you know?
I'm not sure the exact number at this time.
If it's 1.47 acres in a standard residential zone, that works out to be?
It's usually based upon the general plan when we do that. And I'll bet the general plan here is a low-density residential. So whether it's 4 or 6, I don't know that it's a big deal. Or even if it's 8. There's a range that goes with that.
Okay.
And I think they're in that range. I don't believe I have problems for
And
any
are
of
there,
the utilities in this area. For
so that was my next question. Any problem with utilities, particularly stormwater?
The problem I have with this area is the water line that we are fixing and
Well-
that they know the most. Stormwater, again, we typically answer all these questions when they do get to the engineering phase, when they go through the actual subdivision process. We'll have them meet all the city code before they get approved.
Trust me, Councilmember Lamb and I and you know the problem with old water lines. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Any other discussion before I ask for a motion?
I'll throw out a couple of comments. While we were sitting here, I did pull up the lot and bulk standards for R110 versus R18. The only difference of all the bulk standards, and Mr. Langford, you're out there and you can throw darts if I'm wrong, but the only difference in the bulk standards, the setbacks and the bulk standards and the side standards between an R18 and an R110 is that an R110 requires an 85-foot width and an R18 requires a 75-foot width, which would allow, but all the other bulk standards are the same. They're 8-foot side lots, 20-foot rear. The driveways have to be 22 feet long, yada, yada, yada. So the only difference is the fact that R18 can be 10 feet narrower. Well, you add up lots, and with that, with the width standards, might only be easy to get 4, maybe 5 houses in there on a good day with an R110 because of the way it's designed. So I don't think the R18 to R110 makes that substantial enough difference that we make the lots bigger. Couple other thoughts that I have that are running through my mind. This is on the general plan, a low density, a lower density development, and what's the developer brought to us? A low density development. Not very often that we get somebody who brings a development that actually matches the general plan. Most of the time they're asking for future land use amendments that increase the density by thousands. Of all the things that concern me the most about this development is the private street. That actually concerns me. Because we've had, and we've talked about this before, we love HOAs in this city, right? Councilmember Bloom? Yeah, your reaction said it all. This is going to require an HOA that's going to have to require to do the the plowing, and maybe they get better plows than the city, I don't know. But it's the plowing and the street maintenance that they're all going to have to pay for above and beyond their city taxes. And so when we approve this as a private road, we're actually imposing on them a secondary tax, if you will, because they're going to continue to pay a road tax and into our Class C road funds and all that other stuff. And then they also have to pay for their road out front with the HOA. I'm a little uncomfortable with that. I'm also uncomfortable with the fact that it's a private street not being built to city standards. That's probably the most concerning to me, is because, like we've seen happen in other developments, somebody gets tired, something happens, whatever the circumstances are, they come back to the city and say, we don't want the street, here you go. And then we're stuck with a street that doesn't meet our standards, and it's harder to maintain, to deal with it, and those kind of things. That's my concern. If you can help address that.
Mr. Langsford, go ahead.
So just to clarify, per our code, per your ordinance, the private roads have to be built to city standards as far as curb to curb, road base, asphalt, all of that has to be to city standards. It's from the curb outward that they're asking for relief. Now, that's not really a official request to the council tonight, because the Planning Commission, as Mr. Forsyth indicated, they would have to weigh in on that to see if it meets those parameters of the code. So one of the other benefits I see for this developer in requesting a private road, normally if it was a public road, property lines end at the back of sidewalk, right? That's normal. Well, their property lines go to the center line of the road. So that gives them more square footage per their lot, so that they can hit the 10,000 square feet or the 8,000 square feet, whatever. But I just wanted to clarify that the actual road cross-section from curb to curb has to meet our standards as far as construction goes.
Thank you. That was a good clarification. I want to say I have driven both of those roads and walked them this summer. So I do know what you're talking about. Something that I want all of us to keep in mind is, while 6 homes are being proposed, R18 would allow 8 homes or more, depending on how they could figure it out. But the thing I want us to remember is, I am concerned, as was brought up, about where are they going to park, because you're going to have guests and they can have ADUs, and that brings in more cars. So parking, I think, is a very legitimate concern that I'm weighing heavily on this, because when you're saying you're building a street to our standard, but you're not going to allow parking on it, that's weird to me, actually. I don't understand why, if they're the same width as the regular neighborhood street, why your residents couldn't park on your own private lane. So those are just some of my thoughts. Councilmember Jacob.
Thank you. I pulled up Street View on 8600 South, because it's been a long time since I've been in this section of the city. And I would say 8600 South is not built to city standards. I dare say that road predates our city standards. I don't think it's wide enough.
It isn't.
For city standards. There's no sidewalks, there's no curb. It's a country road in a big city. It's kind of interesting that at the end of the country road, we're going to put a nice new, or the developer wants to put a nice new, built to city standards, wide enough road for 2 cars to go past each other and a fire truck to get in and turn around and all of that nice stuff. But to get to that road, he's going to have to go down a road that, may or may not fit 2 cars at once. So it's an interesting conundrum. But for me, the issue today is not the condition of 8600 South, which I think needs to be addressed. I think 8600 South needs to be addressed one way or the other. It either needs to be deeded back to a private road and let the residents there figure out how to take care of it and repave it and make it what they want it to be, or it needs to be brought up to city standards. That's just my opinion. Something needs to happen there, because if that's a public road, boy, I thought the roads in my neighborhood were bad. This is a whole different ballgame there. But for me, the issue here is zoning. And I agree with the resident, Ms. Simonuti, sorry if I butcher that, that a responsible development here would be 4 to 6 lots. The developer's asking for 6 lots. So I kind of agree with that. I don't think I would like 8 or 10 or 12 lots here. I think that would be too many. But I think six is the high end of your responsible range, and I think that sounds about right to me too. And again, I don't think the difference between 5 and 6 is something I would lose sleep over, or 4 and 6, because it's just not that much more traffic. It's not that much more really anything. But as far as the subdivision plat, whether you park on the street or not, whether there's a guest parking in there somewhere, whether there's storm drains, that's all for the subdivision. That comes later. That's the planning commission who gets to decide that. We're just deciding the zone. And I think the zoning that's being requested seems to fit.
Couple more comments for me, just so you know where I may be coming from, is that properties like this in West Jordan are going to continue to infill. It's an inevitable fact. There are going to be some residents don't like this next comment, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's funny that there are a bunch of residents, I count at least 8 residents who signed this petition that they don't want R18, yet they live in R18. Sorry, that doesn't become very persuasive to me when I vote on rezones. I don't see how any traffic in this neighborhood is going to affect Autumn Oak Circle or Preston Villa Cove. They all go out a different way, and as was mentioned, don't connect anywhere close to get to that. You got to go all the way around and dang near the dang near Redwood Road to come back up 8600, because 8600 is a dead end. I do have a concern over on-street parking. I actually think that if you're going to build this with a private road, that you probably should have on-street parking, but that is not a concern of the council when we come to a rezone. I've heard information from our city utilities director that the utilities there are sufficient, and that they will be, if there is an issue, they will be brought up to state code and meet state standard. And so I am satisfied with that. At the end of the day, voting no on this would mean that I'm placing somebody's property rights more superior than to another. One of the inalienable rights that Thomas Jefferson changed in the Declaration of Independence was the inalienable right to life, liberty, and property. Now, property had a deeper context there than just land property, but property ownership is such a fundamental right, it's not listed in the Constitution. It is listed in the state constitution, if I recall my state constitution the last time I read it, which was a while ago on that particular article. The people who live on this property, who own this property, have decided that it's time to terminate the old A5 designation. Technically, on the A5 designation, the one house is barely conforming because you can only build one house on an A5. So it has to be rezoned some way, shape, or another. And so I think this is a reasonable rezone request. Like people have mentioned, there's no townhomes, there's no anything. And to be honest with you, I'm not willing to take on the Utah legislature when they're demanding housing and housing being built, and we deny a reasonable request that meets the future land use map. I'm not willing to vote to put a target on West Jordan City so that they have more cannon fodder to take control over local zoning that they've threatened in the last 3 or 4 weeks in the newspaper. So, thank you.
Councilmember Bloom.
Just quickly, because most everything has already been said, I do want to emphasize that the fire department has reviewed this concept, and that as things get built out, as long as the requirements are met, this property is within 1 mile of a fire station with a 3-minute response time. So I wanted to make sure that that was said publicly.
Thank you. Well, at this time, I would look for a motion. Councilmember Bloom.
I move to approve ordinance number 2559.
Councilmember Jacob.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Bloom and a second by Councilmember Jacob. Any discussion to the motion? I will share, I have the same concern, and I believe it was Kate that sent the email, and I responded with this, but I'll respond so that everyone hears. We have a legislature, which we are a political subdivision of, which is desiring to take local control away. And many of them, ironically, are developers. And our city has not necessarily had positive outcomes from some of those said developers that have served in our legislature, in my humble opinion. And I share that same concern. I have a property owner developer telling me that he'll only put 6 homes on there. I don't think he can get more than 6 homes on there and build the road and build, I just don't think it's possible. And R18, while I really get the concerns and I want you to really consider this, Mr. Wixom, if your roads have to be the same width as our neighborhood roads, there is no reason to restrict parking. And I hope you reconsider that, because it's just not fair for them to then be parking on adjacent roads. And that little road, I don't remember what it is, it is tiny. Like, walking down that road is a little bit nerve-wracking on its own, just because you don't know who's going to come around that corner really quick. And I would hate your future residents to park there and find out that someone came around that corner a little too fast and now their car's smashed because they had nowhere in your development to park. So enough with my mothering lecture. I will Vice Chair Bador.
I'm just going to point out real quickly, I am in this neighborhood quite a bit. I live sort of across Redwood a bit from this, and I'm here in this neighborhood quite a bit, mostly due to a different housing situation that's right on that 1500 West. So I'm there a lot, and I know 8600 very well. I know that it's not good. That's why I always go down 8660 when I have to go do something there. But I wanted to point out, a couple members of the council have talked about how we can't fight the state, and put a target on her back. It sounds like the developer's going to put the same house there no matter what we do, so we're not stopping that. But I do, again, I go back to our planning commission where they were all thinking R110, but then we're talked out of it. I haven't seen enough that really tells me why it can't be that. To me, that just affirms what we get there and how many houses we get there. And I do want that little area to be as beautiful as it can be. So I'll be voting no on this, and just want to make sure we set something that affirms what kind of homes will be there and how many homes will be there.
Councilmember Green, you've had a lot of
I just want to remind
time. Is this something different?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to remind everybody, if we vote this down, correct me if I'm wrong, they have to wait a year unless it's a substantial change. And so if they came back with 5 houses, that's not a substantial change probably. And so I would be very careful with a no vote here, because then you're sending a message to a developer that they can't build for a year.
Okay, seeing no other lights. Ms. Quick, a vote, please.
Thank you. Our Chair Whitelock,
Miss.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bador,
No.
Councilmember Jacob,
Because R110 is not on the table, but R18 is, I'll vote yes.
Councilmember Bloom,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
No.
Okay, I show the motion passes 5-2.
Okay, I actually said miss, but that's okay. You took it as a yes, but it would have been the same outcome either way, so we're good. Did you? I said miss. I said miss. Okay, moving on. Public hearing 5B, resolution number 25056, amending the consolidated fee schedule for fiscal year 2026. Ms. Steck.
We'll be quick. We are just presenting to you a couple of fees. One of them we are asking for you to remove. It's called a land use engineering fee, and there is no engineering at the land use level, or review anyway, engineering review. So we're removing that fee. We don't even know actually where it came from. So we're asking you to remove that fee, and then we're adding additional fees onto the cemetery fee schedule for the columbarium. So the installation of the columbarium is complete, and we're getting a lot of inquiries about people that are interested in utilizing the space. This is the fee schedule that's presented to you. You'll see that there is differential between resident and non-residential rates as we encourage our residents to take advantage of the services within our city, but that the disinterment rates are the same. And the reason they are the same is because typically that is taking someone out of their final resting place for reasons of investigation or moving them to another state for some reason. But that service really doesn't have a direct impact on the space that's available in our cemetery, so we felt like those services were equal whether it was a resident or a non-resident request. So if you have no further questions, we present to you Resolution 25056 for approval.
Any questions for Ms. Steck? Councilmember Lamb.
Is that land use R110?
I think it's a little higher density than that.
I
This is
see no other
multifamily housing.
questions, so I will open the public hearing. If you're here to speak to this item, please come forward. Mr. Anderson, are there still millions of people online?
There are not millions of people online. There are no people online.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that cares to come up and talk about this? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for either discussion or a motion. Councilmember Lamb.
I will move to approve resolution number 25-056, amending the consolidated fee schedule for fiscal year 2026.
Vice Chair Bador.
I will second this.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamb, a second by Vice Chair Bador. Ms. Quick, a vote, please.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bador.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
I show that motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is ordinance number 25-60, amending the budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. Ms. Steck.
Thank you. We'll bring to you some budget amendments. There aren't very many of them. The first of them is to receive revenue in the general fund for the sale of the columbarium space that you just approved, $15,000, so we're receiving that. The second item is the fleet management fund. There's a couple of things here. The first is there was an accident with equipment that totaled out a Kubota. I don't even know what that is. It's some sort of ATV thing in the Parks Department. The Parks Department can absorb it in their current budget, but it needs to be purchased out of the fleet fund. So we are going to be transferring the money and receiving it in the fleet fund for the replacement of that item, and then purchasing the new item as well so that it becomes property of the fleet management fund. So that's the $32,000, and that's how much the Kubota costs as well. The rest of that, the differential there for $18,000, is that we are asking for your approval to move a program that was originally budgeted here and using reserves out of the fleet fund that started out as a $50,000 project for the Opticom EMS traffic control, the light traffic control lights and equipment that changed the lights. That project has grown because of the maintenance of the system as it was down for so long. It's needing additional maintenance and improvements. We are negotiating with the county for some of those improvements. However, at this time, the estimate on that project has grown to $100,000. My preference and recommendation to you is not to use reserves out of the fleet fund at that level, but instead to transfer it over into the CIP fund as a project. So we're going to ask you in a moment to approve it there. So we're removing it out of the fleet fund, restoring $50,000 of the reserves, and then allocating $32,000 for the purchase of the Kubota. Are there any questions about this one? Okay. The next item is the Capital Projects Fund. This is where we're receiving our sponsorship from Canyon View Credit Union for the Community Arts Center of $125,000 this fiscal year. That's a 5.5-year agreement, and it's for the naming rights on the Community Arts Center. And this year, we're asking to budget that sponsorship for the AV equipment, curtains, and signage that puts the name onto the Arts Center. There's a few smaller pieces of equipment that will be purchased with those funds as well. We are requesting in a park strip improvement on Copper Hills Parkway. That is a project that Councilmember Shelton has collaborated with the mayor on for improvements on that area. We're requesting fencing improvements for parks along 7800 South. I'm going to flip to the next slide for a moment because the mayor provided me with some photos to help you with understanding what area this is. As we widened 7800 South, the area became closer to these two park areas. And as you can see, they're not sunken in too much. And so what's happening is kids are playing, the balls are getting kicked, or kids are running out in that area and could easily get hit by a car. So we're requesting some fencing along these two areas that are marked in red. This is some drone footage of these two neighborhood parks that are in the Highlands SAA area, so that for safety features. So that's that request. That is a $50,000 request. we would like to just do a really nice wrought iron fence instead of like the chain link fence that would really take down the aesthetics there. Then we're asking for funds to carry forward. These were funds that we believed would be spent last year, but they were not. And so we just got through design on that dog park on this side of the city, and we are going to restore the budget to its full value of $150,000. You had $75,000 last year, $75,000 this year, but we didn't spend it, and so we need to put that back into the budget. Some lighting improvements and the Ron Wood baseball field. This was a phased project. It was going to have was going to be cut into 2 different phases, one this year, one next year. However, when the bids came back, if we combined them, we were able to save a considerable amount of money by reducing it and removing the phasing. So we're asking for $30,000 to be put back into that project from a future year. As you've adopted a 5-year budget, you sort of adopted that project as a whole. We're asking you to accelerate that funding by $30,000, and we'll remove it in the next year's budget. And then also for some safety features on the Grizzly Way area tunnels that are Clay Hollow and, help me, you told me and I forgot the name of it, Barney's Creek. Those areas are very dark and not lit well, and some activity is going in on them that shouldn't be. So that's a $30,000 estimated project at this point. The Opticom system we just talked about, that's that first $50,000 we would be budgeting that was originally budgeted in fleet, and then adding another $50,000 because of the project scope increase for replacing apparatus and receiver controls. This would be what the capital projects fund looks like right now. This is also beginning reserves as of June 30th, as I've gotten through the majority of financial statements and audits. So we're bringing in the revenue from the naming rights. We're asking you to allocate $610,000 additional dollars for expenditures. You can see that our ending fund balance with all of the things that are budgeted in the capital improvement projects fund will still leave you a remaining $39.3 million for projects going forward in your 5-year plan. That would be all that we're requesting with this budget amendment, and we're available for discussion if you need.
Ms. Steck, you mentioned that there would be a savings for the Ron Wood lighting. Do you know what that savings is?
I heard that it was about 50% of the next year's budget. So it was an increased budget of about $30,000, and we'd be reducing the budget from the next year of $50,000.
Wonderful.
It was about a $20,000 savings.
Guess he changed his mind. Any other questions? Mr. Anderson, your favorite question?
No.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes, I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to come forward? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing.
Yeah, there's, just formally during the public hearing, there is no one online.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for a motion or discussion. Councilmember Green.
I'm going to move to approve ordinance 2560, amending the budget.
Councilmember Shelton.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion by Councilmember Green, a second by Councilmember Shelton. Discussion, Councilmember Jacob.
Thank you. I just wanted to mention the 2 parks on 7800 South is going to be, it's a huge need, and it's going to be great. They're going to be so much more safer, so much safer that they will be more well utilized because people don't want to use them right now because of 7800 South being right there and being a busy road. So the wrought iron, we did this a few years ago after a kid, we didn't put the fence up in time, and there was a fatality on 5600 West and 82nd South, several years back, probably 7 or 8 years ago. And now there's a wrought iron fence there, and it looks great, and that park's well used. So you can walk through the wrought iron fence where the sidewalk is, but you can't kick a ball through it very easily. Kick a ball over it if you're very good, but So I'm really happy about that, and I'm really happy about the lights in the tunnels on Grizzly Way because those get graffitied a lot, and I hope the lights in there will maybe cut down on the graffiti there. You should go run through those in the morning. I run through those in the morning. That's where I go run. And the different shades of gray, because the graffiti crew goes and paints over them. They don't always take the same color of paint, so there's very different shades of gray through the tunnels as you go through there. Yes, very, very many. I'm not gonna count them, Mr. Bedore. But yeah, so that's well needed, and those tunnels get very dark, especially in the mornings when kids are walking to school through them. So,
Councilmember Shelton.
I'd like to speak to the $200,000 budget for the improvement on Copper Hills Parkway. We have on the north side of that road, we have beautiful landscaping, grass, shrubberies, trees. That made me think of Monty Python. Bring me a shrubbery. Anyway, sorry. But on the south side of the road, we have literally a weed patch that Parks has to mow that down periodically. And the residents on the south side of that road kind of feel like maybe they're being treated as second-class citizens somehow because of that. I don't love, there's a lot of things I would like to see some landscaping there, bringing in irrigation would be extremely expensive and would cost a lot of money beyond what is even being asked now. The cement that is being proposed, the stamped cement to fill in that weed patch, will give some aesthetic to that area. It'll increase the width of the sidewalk, make it more usable for pedestrians and cyclists. And it's just, I'm very pleased that Mayor Burton has agreed to make this a priority for the people who live close by my neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you. That was very well put, Councilmember Shelton, and that is how they feel. And I'm grateful that we are now doing something. And that is the purpose of our CIP is to do these projects. So that's why we have that money there, is so that we can meet the needs for our residents in our city. So let's see, I have a motion by Councilmember Green and a second by Councilmember Shelton. Ms. Quick, a vote, please.
Vice Chair Bedore,
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob,
yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb,
Yes.
Chair Whitelock,
Now you call me last. Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes, I was last.
I show that
Well,
motion
last
passes
enough.
7-0.
Thank you, Council.
All right, we'll move on to our business items. We have two. The first one is resolution number 25-052, submitting two names to the governor, Spencer Cox, for the Division 4 board seat for the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District Board. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Chair. So the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy Board covers multiple counties, and so it falls under State Code 17B2. And what it requires is that the legislative body, you, submit two names to Governor Cox, and he will appoint one, and they will actually go through the advice and consent with Utah State Senate in February to serve and represent West Jordan on the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District Board. Councilmember Jacob has been doing that since he was appointed to fill in for Mr. Lyle Summers, if you remember that term has expired or is expiring. and looking for representation from West Jordan. I did send an email to council a couple of weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, about this coming up on the agenda when we received notice from Jordan Valley Water Conservancy. The only two individuals that I heard from was fairly quickly Councilmember Jacob and recently Councilmember Whitelock were the two. We cannot submit more than 2 names, and if you only submit 1 name, you have to provide a letter to the governor explaining the processes you went through to try and get more than 1 name. So my recommendation to you is to choose 2 names. Those are the 2 that have contacted me. Doesn't mean it has to be those 2. If there's someone that really wants to do it, all I need tonight is 2 names to submit to the governor.
Mr. Anderson, were you able to reach out to the council members-elect?
Not about this topic.
Okay. Councilmember Green.
I'm going to move to approve resolution number 25-052, inserting the names Zachary Jacob and Kayleen Whitelock to Governor Spencer Cox for the Division 4 board seat on Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District Board.
Councilmember Bloom.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Green, a second by Councilmember Bloom. Discussion to the motion. I'm just going to throw out there that my given first name is Shauna, and I don't know if it matters how we submit that, but in our world, I don't know. You'll have to research that. Thank you. Councilmember Lamb.
This is one that I learned from the mayor. Councilmember Jacob, what are you doing on the board?
Oh,
you don't have to
dear.
answer that.
Oh, dear.
No, my only question is, so we've submitted 2 names, not taking any sides here, but so who chooses?
The governor.
And how does the governor choose? He just pulls a name out of a hat?
I don't, Councilmember Lamb, I don't know the process. We submit 2 names, and he has a person that oversees boards and commissions statewide. What that process that they use will then, he'll pick 1 name, and that name will go to the Utah State Senate, and they will deliberate it on the floor. But it's who I'm working with at the governor's office is the person who's over boards and commissions.
All right, well, that clarifies it. I just was wondering, obviously, we've picked 2, but who picks the 1? And obviously, we don't. Thank you.
I see no other lights, so Ms. Quick, a vote, please.
Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bador.
Yes.
Thank you. I show the motion passes 7-0.
Next item on our agenda is 6B, Joint Resolution Number J25-01, proclaiming the City of West Jordan as a just served city. We heard from their leader, I guess, earlier. Councilmember Green?
I'm going to move to approve joint resolution J25-01.
Councilmember Bloom?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Green, a second by Councilmember Bloom. Any discussion to the motion? Seeing none, Ms. Quick, a vote, please.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Vice Chair Bador.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Thank you. I show that motion passes 7-0.
Next up, we have reports from council. I'm going to start because no other lights are up yet. We were invited to Terrain to see the progress that they're making, and it's really cool. It's one of those, when I look back on a vote, I'm so glad that we said yes and that that's moving forward. It's a great development. They're really building a lot of homes out there, and the landscaping is lovely, and it's just a great development, and I appreciate them keeping us apprised of what they're doing. I did notice that the swimming pool for the development had been submitted to the Planning Commission. So that's cool to see because I believe it's the, Councilmember Jacob, the fire station that was sinking, is that the Maples? Yeah, the Maples development are not very happy because their swimming pool has not materialized and they're wondering, they pay a lot of HOAs and they're not getting their swimming pool. So I was happy to see Terrain doing that. And then tonight, it was fun to go before we came here, and if you haven't had the opportunity, I encourage you to go over in the rec center parking lot. Basically, towards 2200 is our statue, and it's a huge beat, and it was really fun to listen to the artist and to see her excitement over it. And if you look closely, there's a lot of pliers on that thing. So, and what was important to me in the question I asked her is, so what kind of finish does this have and how long do you think it's going to last? And she said it was powder coated, so that's wonderful. And she also said that she will be coming back in the spring to see how it overwintered. So I was happy to hear her say that. That was, I think, a good thing, and I appreciated that. Councilmember Green.
So just a couple of things. One, just wanted to welcome Furniture Row to town and Denver Mattress. We did go to their grand opening and their brand new building, and wish them the best of luck there on the corner of 78th and Mountain View. And Mountain View can only get busier, so they'll be visible to a lot of traffic. Again, it was great to visit the statue out west of here. For those who, I mean, it's a great symbolism to have that sugar beet there, knowing that the sugar factory used to be there, and how much the sugar beets and sugar factory were the life of the economy in this part of the valley for a long time. My grandpa even went to Jordan, and he was a beet digger. So, you know, that puts it in context. So, and then last, I have no idea what their name is, but the other night, my wife and I drove to Tuacahn to go to a concert. And needless to say, the first 20 minutes of the concert were the most miserable concert I've ever been to in my life because it was raining. Everybody's happy that there's water, but, you know, it could have waited a little bit. Anyway, my wife and I are sitting there in the seats. They're in Tuacahn. There was only a 15% chance of rain, so you don't think, it's not going to rain on us. It's only supposed to be partly cloudy. Well, guess what? And we hadn't planned for the rain. We're trying to stay a little bit dry, and the gentleman next to my wife says, I have an extra poncho. Would you like it? I said yes, or she said yes, and so she opened the poncho. We talked a little bit. That family sitting next to us was from the Oaks, out where you guys live, out there between 90th and 78th off of U-111. And so, small world, and thanks to them.
Councilmember Jacob.
Thanks. I just want to say you can't beat public art. And I hope we can continue to fund more projects in the future. I think our water tank project looks amazing, and the only gripe I have with it is it doesn't go further around the thing. So let's get her back out there. There's a whole nother water tank right next to it. It's that needs some. The flag on the at the Wheels Park looks awesome. The flag painting on the side of the container thing. So we've taken some big steps. I'm glad that the council's funded that a couple years ago. Let's keep funding it because it pays itself back in showcasing the city well. We talk about aesthetics in the city all the time. We talk about showing well. We talk about streetscapes and all these other things. It's a cool and impactful way to continue to put lipstick on this pig of our city sometimes and make it look good. So let's get more and more lipstick out there. And yeah, that's all I want to say. You can't beat public art.
Councilmember Shelton.
Take a little personal liberties. My parents both went to Jordan High School. Both were class of 1949. My dad actually dug beets as a high schooler. I did not know that sugar beets were white. Like, I should have known that. My dad probably figured it was just common knowledge. Like, everyone knows. I didn't know. So I learned that just today, that sugar beets are white. And I thought, why is there a turnip sculpture? There was supposed to be a beet, and it's a turnip. Well, it turns out they're actually white. So that was fun to learn that. On a more somber note, after the ribbon cutting at Furniture Row, I met with Mayor Burton and Councilmember Jacob and Bador and Councilmember Lamb at the top of Dorley Drive on 4800 West, where a young lady, 16 years of age, was crossing the road and was hit by a car just 2 weeks ago. Not even 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks ago. She will survive. We're really pleased and happy. Her parents, her family, they're good friends of my family. And I would just like to thank city staff, specifically Ty, I don't remember his last name. What's that? Nilsson. They got out there right away and put in a flashing crossing, and they also took out a tree that was blocking the view of the cross, of the caution sign. I know our traffic engineer, Nestor, is working on a list, or has a list, of similar locations that need work. And I'll tell you, I said this to some council members already, but the cost of making these improvements to make crosswalks more safe, it seems expensive until something like this happens, and then it seems a lot less expensive. I'll just say that. And I'm grateful for a city who is willing to step up and make changes necessary to improve safety. And Mayor Burton and his staff has shown that very drive and ownership, and I really appreciate it. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to you, Mr. Anderson, for our council office report.
Up on the dais in front of each of you, there's 5 holiday cards for you. I wasn't able to talk to each of you prior to the meeting, but I just wanted to let you know that Marie in the Communications Department has sent that out to legislators, other city councils. These are for you if you get a card from somebody that we haven't sent to previously. So there's 5 cards there for you to use at your discretion. And that's really all yes?
I was just wondering if you could send us, if we could get a list of who we sent it to so we know that.
I will get that from Marie. And that's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Then we have Mayor Burton's report.
Thank you, council. And thank you for always ending before midnight. Warren, do you have something for me? Thank you. So Salt Lake City built this little micro shelter, and that's for some homeless housing. And I went and toured it with Adam last week, and it's very interesting. This micro shelter, they're like little containers with windows and a heater and a bed, and that's it. The area is fenced. It has restrooms that are brought in on trailers. It has a couple of picnic tables and water, like washing and drinking water there, that's community used outdoors. And so this is something that Salt Lake City is trying to see how that works and how productive it is. Apologize for the hat. It was on Halloween that the tour happened, so I had to act the part. Anyway, that was just something that is happening. You can see Wayne Lederhauser was there along with the Chris, whatever his name is, that's will be taking his place to see that as well. And we continue to have conversations with him. So you're aware, Adam is on the homeless board with the county, so that he represents West Jordan at those events. The Salt Lake Chamber, of which West Jordan is a member of, held a government affairs boot camp up at the Capitol building, and I had an opportunity to hang out with them, and these are the other attendees at that boot camp. So it amazes me how far ahead West Jordan is compared to other jurisdictions on the work we do and working with our legislators. And we had our last e-waste and shred event of the season, of the year. We will have some more next year, and that was our day there. And the weather turned out fantastic. Sometimes it's not. Glad it was. And our Veterans Day program, that continues to be impressed, the caliber of people who not only just speak or participate, but those who come and view and be a part of this. I'm glad West Jordan has and continues to hold these. Thank you, Council, for coming and helping that happen. Earlier today, our officers who are on motorcycles, had their annual training today, and they were out, and they also took an opportunity. They were doing it over near the park where Ron Wood had passed away. Anyway, they took a minute to memorialize him while there. Our officers continue to receive training in all aspects, and motorcycles is one of them, so that they can be prepared. And they're really fortunate that we're riding this part of the season. And coming up, we're going to have our Canyon View Credit Union Community and Art Center. We got to figure out how to make that acronym sound good. Anyway, there'll be an open house there, so people can just come and see it and tour it for people who might be interested in renting that out and using it for other events. And that'll be Wednesday the 19th from 4 to 6 p.m. And you're welcome to come and join us, because you may want to rent it out for some event too. Maybe a child's wedding. Okay, and you heard about the beat. This is kind of a picture of it. Our public opening for that is going to be Wednesday the 19th from 4 to 6, if you want to come out and see it again. And I believe the artist will be there again on that, for that event. Is that correct? That is correct. And coming up is our Craft and Cravings, and that'll be at the, there's an acronym, CVCU Community Arts Center. That'll be Wednesday the 19th from 6:30 to 9. You're invited to join us there. And we're continuing to have our emergency
Recording
readiness.
in progress.
Thank you. And that continues to happen on Thursday nights. You don't need to come to all of them, but if you get an opening, we invite you to come and join with us. And on Thanksgiving Day, Our office will be closed, and also the day after on Friday, so Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be a 4-day weekend for city staff. Oh, you get the last one. Okay, I intended to show the picture that Councilmember Shelton took of the new flashing lights at the crossing, because he took that and sent that over to me, and so I'm sorry I didn't make that over there. So if you want to go see how good those look. But what's really impressive is our staff is so good, they didn't act like government. They did that in less than a week from that incident happened to those lights getting put in there. That tells you what kind of quality we have here. So that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Chair. Council, just a couple of updates. With the weather turning, the asphalt plants are closing. We're done with road maintenance, asphalt road maintenance and overlay projects for the year. We got a lot done this summer, an awful lot of projects done. We had a good long season, and we're able to carry out a few projects into the fall. We had 2 critical employees start this week. Our new HR manager, Mike Wilkie, started, as well as our new water conservation specialist. Her name is Cindy Morales. You funded that position. She started, and we're anxious to put her to work. Yeah, she started this week. Yep. An update about the courtroom. If you have a chance, you can poke your head into that courtroom that's being built out. It's been framed, drywall's up. All the ballistic paneling is up, the grid is up, and it's coming along. The remaining finish at work should wrap up before the end of the calendar year. We hope to give you a tour with the Taylorsville City Council in January. But if you want to see it while it's still under construction, let me know. Come by. It's open most days. You could poke your head in there and look and see the progress they're making. Things are going well with Taylorsville in the temporary courtroom for the time being, and we're rounding the corner on the final steps of making that building work well for both communities. Lastly, we're making preparations right now for the awards banquet that will be coming up in January. I believe we've reserved a date on your calendars for that awards banquet. We will be reaching out to you for some input. So start thinking about folks in the community that deserve recognition for going above and beyond for the community. We want to recognize them and thank them. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Green?
I'm going to move to approve consent items.
I'll second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I see none. Without opposition, I will call this meeting adjourned. Any opposition? Hearing none? Adjourned.